started off from HR college, and then with Talerang actually interned for a bit, and then I got connected to NRP Bearings, where I was working as intern for 2 weeks. NRP Bearings is an auto ancillary listed firm, which has customers like Audi, Porsche, all the domestic OEMs, and providing auto ancillaries. And I was working with the CFO directly. Within 2 weeks of the internship, I got a full-time offer, and then I was there for 3 years there, primarily looking at M&A, corporate strategy, or everything that the CFO's office demanded, from finance to costing, treasury. So got a whole idea of how a corporate finance function works, and then got into I saw myself evaluating startups and reading about different news. That was the 2019 era where Flipkart had just exited uh, from Walmart. That was a big first exit for India, and that's how this whole venture capital sector intrigued me. And then I saw myself cold emailing venture capital funds, and finally got, with a very low response rate, but got into Roots Ventures. And now it's been 5 years, almost 5 years for me now, wherein so at Roots, it's a typically lean team. When I joined, it was just four of us, two partners and two of us, where we were again an all-rounder role that I got myself into. So a VC would have different areas that one would work, right? One would be fundraising for the fund, where you get in money from external capital to then deploy that capital into startups. So fundraising is another, marketing that you have to do for the fund. Then there is the whole deal evaluation space, where you would evaluate different kinds of companies in different sectors. And then comes the whole regulation aspect, where it would be all compliance heavy in terms of SEBI regulations, how the fund needs to be operated, all the numbers. And then comes the portfolio management part. Once you've done your whole due diligence, evaluated a particular company, invested in that company, is the whole portfolio management of a typical fund life would be 5 to 7 years of the fund. So you would, help the founder grow, and whatever aspects that you can help them on, you evaluate how they're performing, and then finally get to the goal of an exit. So yeah, that's how my journey has been, and my role also has played out, where it's been a typical all-rounder role. So I actually did my master's in commerce, while I was working, and I do currently plan to do an MBA later, but that would be an executive MBA, because right now the real world experience while working is giving me uh, far more insights or the knowledge that I would be seeking in later. So the idea is to work a little bit more and get in more experience, and then go for an executive MBA. So a superpower that comes to mind is I would love to be invisible. It would be very interesting to see the whole world dynamics of how be in certain rooms where you would see how actually things function, or what's the reality of things behind the camera. So yeah, it would be very interesting to be invisible and be at the right places to understand different aspects of world. So I personally, after a heavy day of work, I personally love dancing. So I that's my way of relaxing, honestly, even though it takes a lot of effort, but that feels effortless for me. So dance, and something that you're good at, you enjoy it a lot more. So dancing for me. The most rewarding aspect of work is two ways, right? Because we are a venture capital fund, and we are the mediator, returning capital back to the investor who's put in money, so giving them that desirable exit. And that's one of the rewarding factors to be in this sector. And second, being on the portfolio founder end, wherein you are helping the founder grow the business, you're being a soundboard to them. So being with them that whole journey of it's not only a financial investment. We have invested in our company, in a person. So that whole journey to be there for them is also rewarding after that whole fun life when you're getting the exit. Someone would want to get into VC and has no prior experience, I would nudge. This is something what I did, and I would nudge them to look at particular startups. And right now, even Shark Tank is coming, so you have the whole knowledge of different startups that are performing. So research more about them, and already think of yourself as an investor. One particular question is: would you put in your own money in that startup? And that's how you have to look at multiple opportunities in different not only startups but also a particular sector, and then deep diving in that particular sector which company you find amusing to further look at in terms of investing. So, every day is a challenge, and you have to take the challenge right on. But particularly as an investor, is that we have trust given in by our investors in the VC. So it's our main motive to return the capital back. So that's the idea of returning the capital is one key aspect that you have to always ensure you do, and the whole SEBI regulations that come in terms of handling a whole venture capital fund is not an easy ball game. So being ethical, being the right, showcasing the right numbers in term, and then helping in on the founder with whatever founder journey itself is so challenging, and being the right person for them to help in any way possible in terms of networking for fundraising or just being a soundboard and making them understand. Another challenging aspect in this business is the market dynamics that come in, something that is not beyond your control, but you have to live with, and that impacting your portfolio in a way is also something that is a challenge every day. So if I heard that correctly, what attracts me most to be in the venture capital industry is the whole journey of one would be the whole journey of being with the founder from scratch. It also depends on when you came in and when you invested in that particular company. But that whole journey of being with them throughout the whole fund life cycle and then eventually an exit, it's the whole journey of even the personal founder that they've built the business to scale. So that is one aspect. And second would be on a day-to-day basis, listening to founders, understanding their whole journey, evaluating different markets. So that is another aspect that is always interesting, and you learn every day, and it's like getting paid for a job to learn. So yeah, that's another interesting aspect. So what led me to pursue this career is, while I was at an RV, it was a typical corporate finance role. But I saw myself, like I mentioned, evaluating startups and understanding more about the business, how this functions. So that curiosity in me, made me realize that this is where I want to be in terms of, evaluating investments, and the VC world perfectly fit in. The whole India story of startups growing from scratch and the whole promise that India has built in and for the world, all the startups coming in, that was another aspect that added to it. Right. So, we invested in a company called as Just Herbs, which is very similar to Kama Ayurveda or Forest Essentials, if those are famous companies. Yeah. So the idea that we invested in which was primarily that in the affordable mass segment there are no other players, and but still with a premium product, and that's where we saw a larger market and to compete with the Forest Essentials and Kama Ayurvedas of the world. And the interesting exit was that Mariko, which is the owner of Parachute Oil and is a big FMCG company, bought over the company from us, as in we had stake, and that was a very interesting exit for us that we worked on. So honestly, it's been primarily the LinkedIn and Twitter, which is now X. We have specific people now with AI. You have specific people that you want to follow, and they would throw in reports. They would talk about particular companies. There are all the founders now. They are building in public. They are talking about their whole journey, even if they have not raised funds. That's their way of raising funds, where they would talk about their company, how their growth has been in public on social media, and that's how I honestly keep track of all these companies and be up to date about the whole journey. So, while evaluating a startup, there are so many things that come into picture. So, I'll talk about our reference at Roots, where typically at a post-revenue pre-Series A stage, wherein there is some traction in the company, they've have found a product market fit. We typically look at how big the market is in terms of already existing market with they have that they are competing with, and what is the disrupting factor that they are bringing, the problem that they are trying to solve, and then coming to the solution and the features which would lead to that company to stay, and then coming in at the founder credibility also. Why are they the best people to back in terms of any other competitor that would be in that space raising a similar kind of money? And early traction that we can find in terms of revenue that they've built. How's the repeat ratio, retention, that the customer is coming back to you and loving the product or service? That these are some of the metrics that we look at. Yeah, great.